Good morning. So, let's walk to the gym, right? Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what you need to do to learn programming. Because I suspect that some of you may or may not have never even heard about like what it is that, actually what you actually do in order to learn programming. Like, how do you get started? What do you need? What should you learn first? All of these questions are very common in people who, they're interested in programming. They understand the basic concept of what's going on. You're doing something with the computer. You're like writing something called code, and then the computer does a bunch of stuff, and usually it's something very concrete for some people. Some people saw a friend start doing something like a website, and some people saw somebody create a game, or they heard that, computer games are made by computer programmers, all of that stuff. And so I thought I'd share with you how I think that you should probably get started if you're interested. And this is directed directly to anyone who's watching this. I want you to know that I absolutely love programming. It is the single greatest interest I have since I started with it. I love it so much, and I hope you will too. If you want to learn programming, let me help you. Please let me help you. And I'm serious, like if you want to get help or guidance or whatever, completely free of charge. Completely free. Send me a message, leave a comment, do something like that, and I will get in touch with you. Trust me, I will. As soon as I can, because if you are curious even the slightest bit about programming, and I can help you make that move towards learning how to program, I want to be there for you. I want to help you with that. Enough about that. So, let's talk about concrete stuff that you can do to learn programming. Now, the first thing you need to understand, if you are a complete beginner, is that you are now deciding to try out a profession that is not easy. It is not easy to become a programmer. And what do I mean by that? I mean that depending on your definition of easy, it is not going to be easy. That's very vague and fuzzy, of course, but to put it in layman's terms, you are not going to become a good programmer in less than 6 months. You are going to learn how to program in less than 6 months, but it takes longer than that to become really proficient in something. And it also depends on your level of interest in what you're doing. If you're just trying it out, which is fine as well. I mean, knowing a little bit of programming is better than knowing no programming, because it opens up a whole new world of possibilities for you. That you can approach problems in a completely different way. I mean, there are so many cool things you can build for yourself that you are, as a non-programmer, not even aware of. It's a really powerful skill to have. So, that's the first thing you need to know. It will take a little while. Think of it as losing weight. You might lose a little bit of weight in a few weeks and feel good about yourself, but if you want to have a six-pack or like be really good at it, it's going to take a long time to do that and a lot of effort. Maybe not as much as getting a six-pack. Depends on, it kind of depends. Anywho, so the first thing I suggest that you do is to ask yourself, what is it that you want to build? Now, for all intents and purposes, I am going to assume that you want to make a web page, or maybe a browser game or something like that, because there are so many other things that you could be building, but most people who talk to me want to build a web page of some sort, or a web application. So, the first thing you need to learn is JavaScript. And I am saying that this is the first thing you need to learn because, quite frankly, if you're just interested in building something for the web and you want to start off with something, the best place to start is JavaScript, because with JavaScript, which is basic, it is the most popular programming language in the world. It is the programming language that the browser uses to do animations and like all that fancy stuff that happens in the browser, and it can also be used for everything else that you need to be able to make a web page. And I'm talking about a web shop, a blog, any web page that you want to build, you can build with JavaScript. So head over to Code Academy and check out their learning platform. I'm not endorsed by them at all. I have no connection to them whatsoever, apart from being a very satisfied student of their courses. I took them myself when I first started a few years ago, so I can vouch that it's good stuff. So take a look at that. Do those exercises, and then you're going to get a good basic understanding of JavaScript. You can also check out YouTube videos. There are plenty of good YouTube videos for learning JavaScript, but it is vital that you start off by getting your hands dirty, getting a feel for writing some code and understanding what code actually is. So when you've done that and you have a basic understanding of JavaScript, you should have a good solid understanding of variables, for loops, if-else statements, all that stuff. When you know those things, which shouldn't take you all that long to just recognize the basic patterns, you have everything you need to actually do programming. The next step becomes to figure out how to serve up a web page over the internet. That's where Nodejs comes into play. So Nodejs is the next step in your development cycle. So take a look at that. It's the technology that lets JavaScript do the things it needs to do, basically. I'm not going to get in too deep because this is not a video about Node, but it will make JavaScript be able to do the things it needs to do in order to create a web page. So that's the next step. When you know how to use Node and how that works, and there are plenty of good tutorials on that as well, you're going to know everything you need to start making some simple web pages. After that, and this is usually where people get really excited, to get the colors and all the cool fonts and stuff for a web page, you're gonna have to learn HTML and CSS. Those things are also, luckily for you, HTML and CSS are fairly simple concepts. They're very difficult. CSS is very difficult to get really good at, but it's, as I said, it's a learning process to learn this stuff. However, it's very easy to get started, and you're gonna get very far in not that long. So these are the basic building blocks that you need in order to, to start learning how to program. And if you think about it, it's actually not that much. I would estimate that if you today start and you have no idea how to program, if you spend a few hours a week learning this stuff, I'm pretty sure that you can have your first blog up in, maybe a few weeks. Just in order, as a learning project, basically. And as I said, if you need more guidance or whatever, please reach out, because it is actually my ambition that I'm gonna share this with you. I want, when I get a little bit older and have seen more of the world, I would love nothing more than to stop being a professional programmer and go into teaching, because I really enjoy helping people, learn new skill sets and see how great it, the light when you see somebody understanding something, feeling empowered by learning a new skill set, that's just completely priceless to me. And that's I've been a teacher for a few years, or rather taught different subjects, and it's priceless to be able to see somebody understand something or grasp something or improving in a skill set. And if I can help you out with that, I would love to do that. But yeah, that's basically it. So start off by learning JavaScript, and you're going to be on your way to being a professional programmer.